What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, just a few weeks ago on my Twitter, I put get your effing crypto off of exchanges before you regret it for life. And the reason I put that is because many exchanges were starting to get extremely wary and things weren't looking good. And today we can see that Voyager has now filed for bankruptcy. Now, we're going to talk a little bit today about what this means. What does this mean for Voyager? What does this mean for those of you who have your money on Voyager? What does this mean for the company going forward? Are your funds completely gone? I'm going to try my best to answer all of that and give my honest opinion on where I think this goes from here. So let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into the video. So, whenever it comes to bankruptcies, right, there are many different types of bankruptcies, and this is a bit of a misconception going on around Twitter right now, in which people are saying, oh, they filed for bankruptcy, they're insolvent, all of our funds are gone, there's no way to pay us back, they're done, right? And that's not necessarily true. There are many different types of bankruptcies. There's Chapter 7s, there's Chapter 11s, there's Chapter 15s, each one designed in a different way based on a certain situation that a company or an individual is in. So what we can see from Voyager is that they have filed a Chapter 11. So let's talk a little bit about what exactly a Chapter 11 bankruptcy is, and then we're going to compare it to the bankruptcy we saw from Three Arrows Capital, and why I think that things are looking a little bit better for Voyager, at least at this point, okay? So understanding the Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Named after the U.S. Bankruptcy Code 11, corporations generally file Chapter 11 if they require time to restructure their debts. This version of bankruptcy gives the debtor a fresh start. However, the terms are subject to the debtor's fulfillment of its obligations under the plan of reorganization. Now, during a Chapter 11 proceeding, the court will help a business restructure its debts and obligations. In most cases, the firms remain open and operating. Many large U.S. companies file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and stay afloat, which of course is a good thing. So what this means is that basically, although they are going through the process of bankruptcy, meaning that they are struggling and that they are doubting their capabilities of continuing as a business, they are still going to be filing for a chapter that allows them to stay open, to restructure their debts, to possibly figure out a better game plan, to then continue on with operations as usual into the future. Now, we've seen this from many businesses before, including General Motors, United Airlines, Kmart, and thousands of other corporations of all sizes, which we do see operating still amazingly today. So there is hope left for Voyager based off of the certain chapter in which they are filing for. Now, this is where it gets interesting though, okay? This is when it gets pretty interesting. In Chapter 11, the individual or business filing for bankruptcy has the first chance to propose a reorganization plan. These plans may include downsizing of business operations to reduce expenses, as well as renegotiating debts. In some cases, plans involve liquidating all assets to repay creditors. If the chosen path is feasible and fair, the court accepts it and the process moves forward. And that is where I start to get a little bit worried for Voyager. Now, the reason being is because with this certain chapter, it is basically designed for them to reorganize debts to get the money paid back to their creditors. That does not involve you and I. That's not retail. Those are the institutions that invested in the Voyager that have lost money. This Chapter 11 allows Voyager to again restructure things to be able to pay them back as effectively as possible. And the fact that they have the capability, if of course granted by the court, to liquidate all assets in order to do so definitely means, in my opinion, that they are fully capable of liquidating the assets that you and I hold on their platform and on the exchange in order to pay off creditors. And that is the risk of the Chapter 11, right? People are saying just because they're, it's a Chapter 11, they're going to be able to remain operating and running as, a business. That does not take away the possibility, though, that they will liquidate all of us while they are continuing to operate and then use that liquidation to then pay off the creditors that they owe money, because Chapter 11 is specifically designed for them to be able to pay off creditors and to reorganize their debts, okay? So it doesn't definitely mean they are going to, but we know for sure that this is on the table and this is a possibility. But overall, I do believe that a Chapter 11 gives them the most hope in comparison to what we saw from something like Three Arrows Capital, which was a Chapter 15. Now, a Chapter 15 is simply just not good, okay? What a Chapter 15 is something that allows a company that is going through different cases and civil cases in multiple countries to then have those countries work together to stop pretty much any litigation that can come towards them. This is okay, wipe our hands of this, we're done, okay? What we can see is that Singapore-based Three Arrows Capital is among the high-profile cryptocurrency firms who have crumbled under pressure and face liquidity issues driven by the market sell-off in recent weeks. Foreign companies based outside the U.S. employ Chapter 15 to secure bankruptcy protection by blocking creditors from taking legal action. What this means is that they're saying, we're done. Creditors, the people we owe money to, I'm sorry about it. You're not getting your money back. There's nothing we can do about it. Again, wash our hands of it. We want nothing to do with this. And that is pretty much the sign, in my opinion, that they're done for. They're not coming back. There is no money to be made from them, with them, or by them at any given point. Okay, that's the end of the firm. So this is a little bit better because Voyager is at least taking initiative to try to pay off creditors and figure out exactly how they can continue to go forward. The method that they decide to choose is going to be the deciding factor of if the retail investor is in the forefront of their mind or not. Personally, my gut feeling says that this is a high possibility that Voyager does go under. But if they're capable of restructuring their debts to pay off their creditors without liquidating our assets, of course, they could very possibly continue on with business as per usual, especially as we do see the market start to get back in a better direction over the next 12 to 18 months. So that is going to be extremely important. Now, there are some things going around on Twitter right now. Of course, the overall credibility of this is a little unknown, but this guy does go ahead and say that there is a little bit of a contradiction going on between their customer service agreement and the overall marketing in which they provide. In the customer service agreement, it says that FDIC insurance does not protect against the failure of Voyager or any custodian as defined below, or malfeasance by any Voyager or custodian employee. But the way they market it says that through our strategic relationships with our banking partners, all customers USD held with Voyager is now FDIC insured. This means that there, in a rare event your USD funds are compromised due to the company or our banking partner's failure, you are guaranteed a full reimbursement of up to $250,000. It then goes on to say, I called the FDIC earlier and they said Voyager Digital LLC was not a bank and was not FDIC insured. So there are questions right now in which people are wondering, is it FDIC insured or not? If I held cash on the exchange, am I actually capable of getting that money back through the insurance, or is that just a bit of false marketing? Because failure of a company, as we can see here, does not protect against the failure of Voyager, definitely can be classified under a bankruptcy case, and that's the problem, right? If they go through a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, that can then legally be considered a failure. So although they do continue operating, they are then not legally required to pay you back that money through FDIC insurance if that is truly in the customer service agreement. Personally, I did not go find it. But overall, there is a lot of questions going on right now. And so my overall opinion is that although this is a good thing in comparison to bankruptcies, right? If they're going to go through a bankruptcy, this is the best one to go through. It does not guarantee whatsoever that we will ever get our funds back. And if they do decide to go the route of liquidating assets to pay off creditors, which is very possible, there is a strong chance we will never see our funds again. And so the best thing you can do right now is to pay the closest amount of attention to how do they reorganize their debts to pay off creditors. That question is going to decide if you and I are going to get paid back, or if they are just going to continue operating long enough to pay off their debts, then wash their hands of this thing and be done with it. Okay, so I'm going to continue to update you guys if you do want me to. I do understand this case a little bit more. I went through a lot of Chapter 11 just education whenever I was in school, so or just chapter bankruptcy in general whenever I was in school, so I can continue to update you guys if you would like to. Just let me know down in the comments below. But with that said, that's going to be about it. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and I will see you all next time. Peace.